Definitely a hippie or an ex-hippie. I don't think I'm a funder of zealots or a zealot myself, which I've also been called. I've been called many things actually, and I think I don't give it much attention.
What is the reason for you giving the donations?
To who? Because I also give money to Greenpeace, to Sea Shepherd, to a women's refuge, to school breakfast clubs, to food banks. The list goes on.
To the Labour Party? To
the Labour Party. The reason I do that is because I want them to win the next election. And there's always a funding gap between Labour and the Tories, a very big funding gap, and I try to do what I can to close that gap.
Is it about influence as well?
No.
Do you talk to Keir Starmer and Ed Miliband, for example, about policy?
I've known Ed Miliband since he was leader of the Labour Party, so for some time, and we've talked occasionally, and I've talked to Keir Starmer twice.
And what did you say in those conversations?
Well, the last one, as I told the listeners of the Today programme, was a 5-minute phone call in which he thanked me for donations.
Now, this was disrupting the Ashes. You can see there Johnny Bairstow physically carrying off a Just Stop Oil protester. I mean, some people might like the police to take this approach when they're blocking roads, right?
I think you're right. I've heard that.
What's your own view?
I think it's comical. I think that much is being made of this in the news at the moment, and actually it was a few minutes delay to the cricket. Whereas the UN estimate that so far the climate crisis...
OK, look, you've made your points on the climate change a lot. I'm just trying to stick to the Just Stop Oil just for now, if you may.
Because it's disruption. It's the point I want to make. A few minutes disruption, and the UN say 4 million people have already lost their lives, and 20 million people every year are made homeless globally by the climate crisis. That's a few minutes of cricket. People are losing their homes and their lives. It's not as bad as it sounds. Central London traffic isn't very fast anyway, and it's a temporary delay. It's here today, gone tomorrow. The disruption.
Do you have any sympathy for those drivers? The ones who you see getting out their car, pleading?
Yes, of course I do.
With protesters?
Of course I do. But I have sympathy for the 4 million people that have died already, the 20 million displaced, they're made homeless every year already, and the more that is to come for my children and my grandchildren as well, and yours.